Hey sewing friends, so in this video I'm going to teach you how to make a very simple flannel fabric bonding heart. Bonding hearts are used for parents to rub up against their skin, and then their scent gets on these hearts, and then you put it right next to the baby for comfort, because sometimes parents aren't always available to be in the hospital for as long as their babies are. You know, they have to go home and get some sleep, have a little refresh, and then they'll come back. So during that time that the baby is in the unit by themselves, just sleeping, you know, getting taken care of by the nurses, these hearts are a really great way for them, the babies, to still have the scent of their parents right next to them for comfort. All you're going to need is some really cute flannel fabric. It's like really soft, the perfect fabric for little ones. And then if you have a business tag, you'll need some of those. You'll need a paper heart template. This is a template that I made myself. You can just create it in a Word document or Pages document. You just insert a shape into your document, and you can make it any size you like, but this one is about 5 or 5.5 inches tall. Don't remember how wide, but you can make this yourself. It's very simple, or you can just print one from the internet. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is to get your flannel material. You're going to need a pair of scissors or a rotary cutter, and then a cutting mat. And then you're going to cut your heart out, and you can fold your fabric in half, so that way when you do one cut, you're getting 2 halves. Next, you will have your 2 sides of your heart. I went ahead and put my tag on one of them, so if you grab those, I place mine about 1 inch away from the end of the heart, which looks like so. So I'll just put it in between the 2nd inch here. I lay it down, you know, the opposite way, face down, and I just baste it in place. And then you're going to put your hearts right sides together. Let's see, I sew it like this. So you're going to place your hearts right sides together. You can clip it in place. The flannel, usually there's no problems with the material slipping around, so you don't have to. And next we're going to go to the machine. Okay, so now we're going to do a nice stitching around the edges of the fabric. I usually like to start here because we're going to leave about a 3 to 4 inch opening, so that way we can turn the fabrics right side out. So we're just going to start towards the bottom of the heart, and we're going to forward and back stitch to begin. And the seam allowance is just going to be about 1/8 of an inch. I usually just like to do the width of the right side of the foot here, so it'll be about 1/8 of an inch. And yep, so we're just going to go all the way around, and again we're just going to leave a 3 to 4 inch opening on that first side of the heart. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, then I'm going to back stitch. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell because I have white thread, but I have about, you know, maybe that might be like 5 inches, but this will be our opening here. So next, I will take you over to trim around the fabric. Let's go do that. So now what we're going to do is, just so that way when we turn our fabric right side out, Sometimes if we leave fabric around the edges, it starts to look funky, like it's not as, let's see if I can, it's not as, like the curves aren't as smooth as it could be. So what we're going to do is, to alleviate that, is we're going to get our pinking shears. So these right here, they have the jagged edges, and we're going to do a small trimming around almost the entire heart. I'm going to leave the gap alone, so that way there's plenty of material to fold it inside to sew it when we do a top stitching. So let's go ahead and do that. And you just want to make sure that you're not trimming the stitching. Okay, so now that we've trimmed around the edges except for the opening, we are going to turn the fabric, the heart, right side out. So I'll go ahead and do that. And at this point, we are going to iron the heart. So while you're turning it, you can go ahead and prep your iron. Okay, and then I like to use a crochet needle. You can use the end of a pencil if you wish, to make sure all of the edges of the fabric are pushed out. So just in the corner. Okay. And there we go. So let's head on over to iron, so that way we get a good pressing. And while we're waiting for my iron to finish heating up, so what you can do is you can iron this just as it is, with the edges just how they are, or you can fold them in, so that way when you're ironing, your edges are already good to go for your top stitching. There we go. And then you're just going to take your iron and give it a good press. Okay, it looks pretty good. So now we're going to head back to the sewing machine, and we're going to do a nice top stitch around the entire heart. Okay, and once again, when you're starting and ending, you're going to make sure you do a couple back stitches. And I like to start where the open edge is. So, and then the seam allowance, I do like half of the side of my foot here. I don't know the exact measurement, but it's like a scant, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, I guess, if we're having the 1/8 of an inch. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, and that is the final product. As you can see, it's not a perfect heart, but you know, if you're like taking your time, not doing a video tutorial, then they'll look a little bit better, a little bit more smooth. And these are really great to give as gifts. You can also, you know, make them to sell if you want, but there we go. Thank you very much for joining me on this little tutorial / sew along. I hope you found it useful, and good luck with your sewing.